Okay, so today is 6.13, polynomial long division. So the reason why we're learning polynomial long division is because polynomial long division helps us find factors of a polynomial, okay? So I want to show y'all an example. We know, for example, x squared minus 9 can be factored to x plus 3 and x minus 3. This means that x plus 3 is a factor of x squared minus 9. Similarly, x minus 3 is a factor of x squared minus 9. Now that was really easy to find because we know how to factor this. However, if a polynomial is unfactorable or we're not sure how to factor it, one way that we can figure out if something is a factor is by using polynomial long division. Okay? Now, here are the steps. Now, if I were you, I would get like 3 to 4 different colors and color code your notes. That's just me personally, but it's up to you because it is pretty procedural and it can get kind of messy. Okay, so the first step is divide, and I'm going to explain this way more in depth in a second. The second step is to multiply. The third step is to subtract. And then the fourth step is bring down. And then it basically repeats back to first step, okay? And it basically just goes in a circle over and over again, okay? So let's say we have this question. Use the long division method to find the result when this polynomial right here is divided by this, okay? This right here is what we call our divisor, and this right here is what we call our, if I'm not wrong, it's called the dividend, okay? So when we set up our problem, we're going to create a long division thing, and our divisor goes on the outside, and our dividend goes on the inside. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to kind of draw a line down here because we're going to show our work on the right side and then try to keep our problem as neat as possible. So our first step is divide, right? And what we mean by that is you're going to take the first thing in the dividend, the first thing on the inside, and divide it by the first thing on the outside. Okay, so I'm going to, this is my first step. So I'm going to do 2x to the third divided by 2x. This is going to give me x squared. Whatever I get here goes on the top. It's going to become part of my quotient. Now, the next step is to multiply. We're going to take this x squared and we're going to multiply it by the divisor, the thing on the outside. So if you notice, what's on the outside is 2x plus 1. So we're going to multiply that with the x squared. That's going to give us 2x to the third plus x squared. And I'm going to write that now underneath. So 2x to the third plus x squared. Now what we do is we're going to subtract, meaning that we're going to switch these signs. So this becomes a minus and this becomes a minus because it was a plus. Now if you've done this correctly, this term should always cancel out. And then you're going to go downwards. So 15x squared minus 1x squared is 14x squared. And then you're going to just bring down your next term. So my next term is 25x. And now you're going to start the process over again, okay? So you're going to take the first thing on the inside and divide it by the first thing on the outside. So again, back in green. So we have 14x squared divided by 2x. That's going to give us 7x. It's a positive 7x. That's going to become part of our answer, our quotient. we're going to take that 7x and we're going to multiply by whatever's on the outside, 2x plus 1. That's going to give us 14x squared plus 7x. I'm going to write that below. And again, I'm going to switch the sign. So this is going to become minus, and this is going to become minus. If you've done this correctly, this should cancel out. 25 minus 7 is 18x, and I'm going to bring down my next term, which is plus 9. We're going to do the same process again. First thing on the inside, which is 18x, we're going to divide it by the first thing on the outside. So I have 18x divided by 2x. This is just going to give me 9. This is going to become part of my answer. I'm going to take the 9 and I'm going to multiply it by what's on the outside. That's going to give me 18x plus 9. I'm going to write that underneath. And again, I'm going to switch my signs. So this cancels out and this cancels out, which means it gives us 0. If you get 0, that means there is no remainder. And if you have no remainder, that means 2x plus 1 is a factor. Okay? That means 2x plus 1 is a factor of that super long polynomial. Okay? If this makes sense to you, you can go to practice. I'm going to do a second problem just to, do a second example if people need it. But if you got it, you move on to practice. Oh, and sorry, wait, last thing. This right here is my answer. So when you divide your answer, like in delta math, you would put x squared plus 7x plus 9. Okay? So that is your answer. So let's do another question. So I'm going to set up my problem. So 2x plus 3 divided by, I said that wrong. 2x plus 3 goes on the outside. This long polynomial goes on the inside. I'm going to set up my work. So same thing. First thing on the inside divided by first thing on the outside. So I have 8x to the third divided by 2x, that's going to give me 4x squared. That becomes part of my answer, and I'm going to multiply that by whatever's on the outside, 2x plus 3. So I get 8x to the third plus 12x squared. I'm going to write that underneath. Gotta switch my signs because I'm subtracting. This cancels out. This becomes 2x squared. I'm going to bring down my next term. Now same thing. First thing on the inside divided by first thing on the outside. So I have 2x squared divided by 2x. This is just going to give me 1x. So I have plus 1x. So I'm going to take that 1x. I'm going to multiply it by whatever's on the outside. I'm going to get 2x squared plus 3x. I'm going to write that underneath. Switch my signs because I'm multiplying. So I'm going to get 12x. Bring down the next term. Same thing. First thing on the inside divided by first thing on the outside. So I have 12x divided by 2x. That gives me 6. Take the 6. Multiply it by whatever's on the outside. I'm gonna switch my signs. Both cancel out, which gives me 0. So my answer is when I divided them, this is my answer. And we also know that now 2x plus 3 is a factor. Okay, so move on to practice.